do we need to reimagine the future? The pandemic has provided an opportunity to stop and reflect on humanity's direction of travel.
But how can we find the inspiration, the energy to build back better?
How can we connect with people already creating pockets of a better future?
To explore these questions, we're talking to women in Africa, Asia Pacific, Latin America, and the Middle East about their reimagined future post-COVID.
We want to find out how they are pursuing a fair society in balance with our planetary boundaries and the difference being a woman makes.
Today, we're speaking with Zeenat Niazi from India. She's the Vice President of Development Alternatives NGO. For the last 3 decades, Zeenat has been developing housing and habitat projects which are nature and people-centric as well as resource efficient.
Hi Zeenat, welcome to our series Learning from Women to Reimagine the Future.
Could you tell us about who you are and what you do?
My name is Zeenat Niazi. I live in India. I work for a non-government organization called Development Alternatives. I've worked here about 30 years in various capacities. Right now, I'm Vice President that looks after policy studies and also looks at substantively issues of resource efficiency and resilience. I'm a trained architect. I don't do much architecture anymore. And architecture taught me one most important thing, that life is not about a singular point. It's about systems and it's about being interconnected. So in architecture, you work at the detail and you work at the whole at the same time. When I joined my present workplace, I joined as an intern, and my first at my interview, I was asked, why do you want to come here? I said, I want to come here because I want to learn I want to know how people build themselves, how people live themselves, how people can be helped to do better, but not necessarily do better for them. Very early on in my life, a friend of mine, she had told me, Zeenat, you live life as if there is abundance. I'm not going to carry anything away. So what I have, minimal, I can keep and manage. Everything else must go to help somebody. If somebody needs it more than I do, then I don't have to keep it to myself.
What are you passionate about the work you do?
Construction, design, architecture, it's just one little part of the whole life system. I want to connect now resources, nature, and people to building. It's not just architecture. It's how nature and people get connected, because that's where I saw the empathy. And I saw this project. I remember we were building for the first time when we had given a part loan. Part of the construction costs were to come for people's own resources. It was a one room, one cooking space, one toilet, bathroom, with a small veranda. That was the space that was being built. And it was about 24 or 26,000 rupees, which is not 250 pounds. The first step was to ask people to register. We said, you have to be wanting to own it. So everybody was putting in 2,000 rupees, so 20 pounds into the kitty to register. And after which they were supposed to pay back in equal installments, equivalent of 12,000 rupees, which is 120 pounds over a period of 4 years. This is a very small amount of money if you look at it, but from a community of people when we went, a family wouldn't have more than 10 days of work in a month. I don't know where they got their first monies from to register. But we sat, and this was another lady who commented to me. She was a mentor to me. She said, look, Zeenat, they've put in this money. Have you any idea where they're getting the money from? For all you know, they've borrowed it from the local money lender. And those were the days when a lot of people were committing suicide because they were not able to pay back. And that's the time when I realized that housing comes after you have a full meal, after you have livelihood. You realize that by wanting to do something for somebody, you're not doing the best thing unless you know what that somebody wants. So you can only support them in what they want rather than push them to do what you think they need. So we actually went back to the drawing board. By that time, I think about 40 families had paid, and we sat down with them and we said, look, we know it's going to be tough. So what do we want to do? They said, no, we still go ahead, but we need something to pay you back with. So we then worked with another group of civil society organizations to bring in livelihood initiative into that village. So we brought in poultry, and that village has become the center of poultry business in that region. So we said, okay, you build your housing, but you return the funds as as a proportion of your poultry revenues. So instead of 4 years, it took us 6 years to get the monies back. We had a very thriving women's group who managed the construction and managed all this. So they became like the fulcrum of the whole thing. And when I go back to the village, they have solar water pumps, they have water delivery in their homes, and the communities are managing it themselves. I go there and I say, what a transformation. This was a village that had nothing. Out of my 30 years, anything that I've done, I think that it's just that village. But I go back and I say, lives have been transformed, and I was part of that. I think it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. And it sort of gives me so much joy.
Does it make any difference being a woman? If so, how would you describe such difference?
Coming from a society where I do, maybe it is because of the society that I am in, your personal responsibilities beyond your profession are as important. In my early years of my career, and there would be times when in my whole team, I was the only woman. But at that point, you don't realize that you're only woman in the team because you're so pushing towards your work. It doesn't matter to you that the other person is a man. It's when you grow and then you realize that that there is a difference. Being women, we do have additional responsibilities on our shoulders, whether we like it or not. So that means that we need to take these in addition to the dreams and aspirations that we have for ourselves. As an individual, I can do nothing. And I am nothing till I am with my family, my society, the people around me. And therefore, that has to come first. For me to come first, that has to come first. Balance has to be there. If you become too much of yourself, then you say, no, this is not working out. And if you become too much the other side, after a while, you say, where have I got lost? And I believe that women are much better at sensing the undercurrents in a communication. Maybe it's an innate sensitivity, but I think it's being a woman that makes you that you're so perceptive about what's happening around you all the time.
Imagine that COVID has opened a portal to a better future, and that we'll cross this portal to the other side. What do you see, hear, and feel once you get there?
If I cross that portal and I see what I would want to see, and there is what I may see, there are two different things. And what I would want to see, or maybe what I would want to build, are small, caring communities, which are self-managing their resources, their food, their water, in cities or in villages. But I see them thriving. But I see them connected knowledge-wise. So I see open knowledge. It pains me when I see IP. Proprietary information to me is knowledge being held in rooms and dying. Because unless you share knowledge, it doesn't grow, it doesn't improve, it doesn't change. So you have to give up what you have designed to everybody else to use. But I'm afraid sometimes, and I'm afraid most of the times, that that's not the world that we are getting. Because the current polarization is between the capitalists and those who want to corner all the resources, and those who don't have any is just too much.
If you had a magic wand, which three aspects of a reimagined future would you bring to fruition?
I think the first would be that each one of us are able to put ourselves as part of this nature people system that we have and not as the driver or the centerpiece of it. So it's not about religion, it's not about race, it's not about money. It's something else that holds us. The second is that these relationships that we share with each other, they are tempered with love. If we understand that we are connected to each other because not because there is a transactional relationship, but there is a relationship of love. I think the third would be abundance of food and water. I think that would be enough to live well for everybody. You don't need anything else.
How does your vision and work contribute to this reimagined future?
I'm a perpetual learner. I'm a perpetual student. I've never stopped being a student, but I have become of late a gardener of the garden and the mind. So I do enjoy teaching, not teaching in the conventional sense of standing in front of a class of 150 people. And I do that also once in a while as guest lecture, whatever. And but that is much more my speaking. But I enjoy small group knowledge sessions, and I enjoy doing that. So that's something that I think my role going forward. I've had a lot of young professionals pass through my system, and I think I would like to build that much more. I would like to continue to do that. So probably teaching, gardening is what I call it.
With whom do you want to collaborate to make a reimagined future happen?
In today's days, when the world is passing through so much conflict, when we see that conflict and are connected to that conflict all the time, you have to be really an insensitive human being to not connect. And the moment you connect, you want to do something. There are mentors. I've had so many mentors in my life, older people, young people that who have come into my life, whom I say you are your ancient souls because you know so much. So I'm sure those are the people who in any case think this way.
What are the three greatest gifts you can give to people around you to move towards this reimagined future?
What were the three gifts that I received that helped me go there? I think I should start from there. I think the most important gift that I received from both sides of my parents. One was to see things rationally, and the other was to see things with love. And the third is what I have received very surprisingly from my mother-in-law, is to give. Is to give whether or not you have to give. Whatever is yours is not yours, just to give. To empathize, to have empathy and love, and then back it up with action to give. Because just to have love in your heart is not enough. You have to have action to give. So acting, giving, and understanding. These are the three things.
What is a dream you have for the future that if it came true, your work on earth would be complete?
No, our work is never done. We are an unfinished symphony. No, no, our work is never done. But I would like to live as if I have forever. But I would like to live knowing that I may die tomorrow. So if I die tomorrow, I should not have regrets.
What image comes to you if you close your eyes and imagine the future you'd like to happen?
I think what comes to my mind is water, is rivers, is green fields, forests, is cycle lanes, and sitting around a table with warm food and family.
What message would you like to give to others working to make the future a better place for people and the planet?
It doesn't matter what your color is, what your religion is, what your food habits are, what your language is. You are you're a human being. To all those who are out there, I would like to lend my strength to you to together make things happen.